With the Monday report, before we get into that discussion, let me lay some groundwork for you here. At least 80 people have lost their lives in road accidents across the country in the past 4 days. That's according to a statement released by the Ministry of Transport. The latest figures brings the total number of road crash fatalities to 2,933 between January and August this year. Among the recent tragedies is the Kisumu bus accident, which claimed 26 lives, and the Korompoi crash that resulted in the deaths of 8 people. In Naivasha, a collision between a bus and a train left 9 people dead, while 2 others perished in a separate incident in Mai Mahiu. 4 more fatalities were reported at Kisayani along the Kibwezi-Kitui Road. In response to the alarming rise in crashes, the ministry has now formed a special team to conduct comprehensive safety audits on affected road segments. The team will assess the safety deficiencies and reconstruct accident scenes to determine the root cause of the incidents. The audit is expected to be completed within the next 7 days. Now, this is the conversation I'm having with Dr. Andrew Kiplagat, Director, Road Safety, NTSA, Francis Major, former DG, NTSA, Maurice Oduor is a General Secretary, Matatu Workers Union, is joining us online from Thika, and Owuor Otet, a road safety expert and international trainer, is joining us online as well from CIA. He's based in Qatar, but he's in the country for some time. And Dr. Kiplagat, I'll start with you on this. What is causing the increase in road accidents?
Yes, thank you very much, Trevor. And I think I would wish to first pass our condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones through these road crashes. And we say that it's undeserved. It's undeserved. There are several things that could be causing this, and from the known causes, like it was said that we are trying to establish for these particular ones. But then the areas that are problematic or that are causes and unknown, first has something to do with the human, the driver in this case. And there are certain things that can happen, that can go wrong with the drivers, such as poor judgment of distances, poor judgment, maybe feasibility of the road, the condition of the driver. And with this, then they are bound to make certain mistakes. Like, for example, they can speed beyond. They can overtake in a place that may not be right to overtake. They can be too tired, so that then they are not alert, and in the process, a road crash happens. Of course, contributed by other things. So the other issue has to do with vehicles or the vehicle condition. That if the vehicle is not mechanically sound, then it's a risk factor, because in some of the incidences from the preliminary reports, some of the things point to the vehicles. Like, for example, brakes are not able to work as expected, and therefore the drivers fail to control the vehicles, which subsequently cause crashes. The other aspect could do with the infrastructure, the road itself. So the condition of the road can have a role in road crashes. Like, for example, if there are no signs, road signs to guide drivers, issues to do with maybe design, issues to do with it could be it doesn't have all the facilities. Like, for example, when you have a challenge, is there a place that you can pull and be able to do this? So it's a combination of many factors that end up causing road crashes, and that subsequently lead to loss of lives, and as I said, undeservedly.
All right. And Major, you've been at the helm of NTSA. What do you believe are some of the structural weaknesses that this institution has that contributes to persistent road accidents?
Well, Trevor, thank you, first of all, and thank you for the invite. It's been quite a while since I was in that sector, close to 6 years now. But yes, I want to agree that we really have a problem. And the problem is I don't think we are getting a solution so far. But if you look at these issues, it begins with our behavior as road users. That's where the problem or the challenge begins. Because the behavior of majority of the road users is a very big contributing factor to the challenge that we're having on road safety. If you look at the driver, issue like speeding of vehicles, if you look at the Kisumu incident, without referring to anywhere, I cannot rule out speeding, because for such an impact to happen, this vehicle must have been on high speed. So the driver must have been speeding. If you look at Boda Boda, we all use these roads. The way they use the road, it's really unfortunate that they don't observe the basic traffic rules. Nothing happens. So we have a challenge as a country, and it is really high time we decided to deal with this problem. However, all is not lost. And I will remember, while I was still at NTSA, and I think the year was 2016, after a very long time, that year, we had a reduction in accident fatalities. And I remember very well, we were able to, in comparison to the previous year, we saved 311 lives. And we did celebrate. But what is it that we did that time? All the stakeholders worked together, right from the Ministry of Transport, NTSA itself, management, board, and all the operators in the road safety sector.
Yeah.
We worked together, and that year, there was a reduction in fatalities. I believe all is not lost. It still can be done.
Okay.
But a lot of effort needs to go into place.
Okay.
But I want to caution the Kenyans that it must begin with behavior change. And behavior change is not something you can do for 1 year or a few days. It must be consistently. For behavior to change, you must apply the same things. You must be consistent in the application of the law, in enforcement. You must be consistent over a period of time until people change their behavior.
Okay.
So I think that's where we should really put our focus.
We'll talk about enforcement in just a bit, but let me bring in Maurice Oduor. Maurice Oduor is the General Secretary of Matatu Workers Union. Maurice, are your people misbehaving on the road?
Okay, good evening again. Thank you. I think I'm audible now. Thank you very much.
All right, Maurice, we seem to be having a challenge with you there. Maurice, just lower the volume of your television first, and then we'll come to you in just a bit, Maurice. Let's talk to Owuor Otet. Okay. Owuor Otet is a road safety expert internationally. Owuor, what do we seem to be getting wrong as a country?
First of all, I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. This is a very timely talk that we need to have. Looking at the past, it's a talk that has been there over and over again. So we are even late in action. What are we doing wrong? First, we should look keenly and realize that knowledge is power, and it is something that is very, very, very good. If we as a nation are going to realize the power we have into stopping road carnage, then the passenger will realize the power in their voice. You know, it is very funny that when we are traveling, like when I am traveling, Trevor, I know how to drive. I'm an internationally recognized trainer, top rank. But when I get into a vehicle, I want to keep quiet. I train drivers at the international stage. I know when someone is missing the point. I know at this speed you cannot navigate a certain bend. I know when the driver sees a traffic sign and whether he interprets or understands or just sees it as a beautification on the road. So knowledge is very key. A lot of our drivers, a lot of our people on the road, a few years ago, I used to say Kenya had only 2,000 qualified drivers. A lot of them have been taken into the European countries and abroad. The people who are left, some have died not because they wanted to, but because somebody who did not have the knowledge did something wrong and they ended up as being victims. So knowledge is very key. Our road users must understand that we have three categories. There is the category of human error. It is the leading. It will take 90% of RTAs. Then we have what we call environmental. We have to understand that there are causes that are from our own environment. There's nothing we can do about them. Some causes are temporary under environmental. Others are permanent under environmental. Then we have what we call mechanical. These are parts that might rise. You know, all the vehicles that we use are mechanical. They can fail at one point. At one point, they might miss to fail. But it is now clear that there is an imbalance in the ecosystem that has greatly catalyzed human error. The imbalance, like in communication, we see a lot of people using their phones while they are driving. The human brain cannot process two commands at a go. It will either look and concentrate or look and get distracted. So knowledge is very key, because on the other side, they value and invest a lot in what we call driver growth. There are certain companies that you have been approved by the police in the traffic system. You are licensed for categories of vehicles, but you will not be allowed until you undergo a system of knowledge. Nowadays, when I meet people, I don't ask them, do you know how to drive? Because driving, anybody can drive. Moving the vehicle, anybody can move. Even if you take a 2-year-old, put the vehicle into drive, it's an automatic, tell them to accelerate, they will, and it will go. I nowadays ask, are you a defensive driver? And the response I get is, I don't know. That should worry us as a nation. Thank you.
But let me see if I can get Maurice Oduor now clearly. Maurice, are the people in your docket as a Matatu Workers Union misbehaving on the road? Maurice, unmute your microphone, please.
Thank you very much, Trevor.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
I forgot to send my condolences to the families of friends who have lost their loved ones during the crashes that have just happened the last 1 week. It's a very sad state of affair to start blaming each and every other person for what we are experiencing today in our roads. First, I cannot say that our members are behaving on the roads. There are very many factors that Ombija, our major, has also alluded to, and the same to the doctor in the studio. And you look at all these factors combined, you will realize that drivers are not they don't make decisions. The laws that are made in this country are just made somewhere, and the drivers are now brought to the laws to be implemented upon them. So it is very, very difficult for them to even take their core responsibility of making sure that road safety is a core responsibility to them, because nobody wants to bring them on the table as far as these discussions around road safety and other issues concerning safety on the roads are concerned. So if we start blaming the drivers that they might be misbehaving, but they don't know that they are misbehaving. They just, because most of these drivers, you understand that as my fellow brother from Sia said, the training capacity of these drivers varies. They don't undergo the same training. We don't have a curriculum that is basically for drivers who drive the public transport vehicles. So for them to misbehave, maybe the way one driver was trained is totally different from where the way the other driver will respond to issues. So to me, we cannot wholesomely say that the drivers are misbehaving, but now it depends on the school of thought that all these people went through. And there are very many factors that, as we go by, we are going to discuss them as we get into the core discussion of this subject.
Dr. Kiplagat, where is the miscoordination? Like what Maurice is saying, that there's no specific training curriculum for the drivers, there's a miscoordinated information trickle down. What are you doing to ensure that everybody is up to par when it comes to driving? And what also Uwur said, that people are not qualified, but they're on the road.
Yeah. Now, you'll realize that, Trevor, that we are coming from somewhere. The issues that they've raised is actually valid, because we are not yet where we want to go. For example, in competency of drivers. And you see, it has been a journey, but where we are is that we are better than where we are coming from. And these challenges, of course, come to government, and it's the responsibility of government to get solution, of course, to lead in the solution making. And one example is that last year, the president launched a National Road Safety Action Plan, which actually was done collaboratively, and some of the things that it provides for is what Maurice and Otet are raising on how to improve the competency of drivers. The challenge, as I'm speaking, there was a study that was done to inform what are some of the reforms that need to go into driver testing, so that then we can enhance the competence of drivers. I know you've had the many challenges besides what they are saying, and one of the findings is that we need to reduce the human interaction between the examiners and the drivers, so that then a driver who qualifies can be determined in a way that is more objective. And part of what that report says, which actually is some of the achievements of the National Road Safety Action Plan, was automation of the driver testing, which has two components. That's the theory and testing. And these are some of the things that the Ministry of Transport is considering at the moment, which will inform now actions to improve this, so that then we can get drivers that we can say they are adequately competent in as far as driving is concerned. There are many other things that we currently do again to address that, because we realize that there is this shortcoming, there is this gap within drivers, and the authority, together with stakeholders like Kenya Driving Schools Association, with other stakeholders, like, for example, I think there is a team like counties, in fact, sometimes the county transport and safety committees, whereby we design programs to address driver needs. And this especially, and you must have heard even the public service vehicles saying that the government is really focusing on them. And some of the things that we do through the many circles is to engage them in sensitizations to try and improve their capacity, even as we work towards this more sustainable intervention. And this will help, and we've seen, and in fact, again, in some of the enforcement, sometimes when we realize, we do some retests, so that then gradually we work and improve the current situation as it is, even as we look at more sustainable way, which is captured in a national strategy that is being implemented, although slowly.
Okay. Major, from an outsider looking in, what do we keep getting wrong here? Because you've talked about a complementary enforcement. Is that in itself a problem? Because the Kenyan driver knows that if I run into an NTUC official, I'll just part with something small and I'll move on. I run into a police officer, I'll do the same thing. Is it time to cut down on those bureaucracies and deploy the use of technology, like what I'm about to show you on the screen, what's happening in Rwanda and in Dubai as well, where if you flout any traffic rule, it will automatically reflect. You'll get your fine direct on your phone. No interactions, no negotiations. And in some places, it even goes further, that you start losing points. At some point, you'll even lose your driving license.
I can't agree with you more. And this is a journey we began long time ago. The first thing we realized, especially when we are creating NTSA, because I was the founder director general, is a database so that you know who owns a vehicle, who is a driver. There wasn't any. We succeeded in doing that. We created a credible database, and you can simply today very easily verify who the ownership of motor vehicle. You can even do it online. The same came to a driving license. Today, you don't have to carry your driving license. A police will stop you, police officer, and even if you don't have your driving license with you, they can check on their phone and verify. We need to move now further, that there is a database. And this is the vision that I had myself. The moment you have a database ready, which was the foundation, the next thing is to add other components of digital enforcement and minimize the human intervention in enforcement as much as possible, including even in driving school. There is a proposal that we had made that we outsource the issues of driving schools, as an example. Leave NTSA to be a regulator. Set the standards. Audit to ensure that the standards are being complied with, and allow the private sector to invest in driving schools. And when I was in NTSA, we went up to Korea, South Korea. They have a very good driving test, as an example, where there is no human intervention in the whole process. In the theory part of the test and the practical, there is no human intervention. And we came here and made those recommendations. Botswana have already implemented that, and it is working. That's one of the. When it comes to enforcement, again, that's another area. If we continue the way we are doing, we will have no results to show tomorrow. We need to really invest in technology. And I'll give an example. The biggest challenge today and what is causing traffic accident in this country is speeding. Technology is possible now to use technology to detect those who are driving. Look at the superhighway. Today, there are those sensors as you drive along the expressway. They will tell you what speed you are traveling on. In hazardous areas which are prone to accidents, that is the technology we want to deploy. But ensure that anybody who violates that is held to account. And I think that is where the problem is, impunity. That what will happen? I will still violate the traffic rules. What will happen to me? For as long as we tolerate that impunity, there is no intervention that is going to work. But the moment you make everyone accountable for the action, you will start seeing results. And I'll give an example. While I was in NTSA, there was the Alcoblo. It was a small team, very small team. But we made what was driving the effectiveness of that program was anybody, irrespective of whatever position they hold, must be brought to book. And you saw the results. But unfortunately now, because of inconsistency in government policies, you have never heard of alcohol again. And again, that is a big factor, contributing factor to accidents. Where in the world do you allow people to drink and drive? There's nowhere. So as a people, we must agree that if you want to reduce these numbers, there is pain to pay. But there are solutions also.
In the long run. And Dr. Kiplagat, before I bring in Uwur, where are the cameras? We had speed cameras that were tested some times back. How come you're not using technology to curb these incidences of road traffic malpractice?
Thank you, Trevor. And I mean, it's good to sit together with someone who has worked at NTSA as the DG. And actually, I agree with what he's saying. And these are actually the things that informed the development of the National Road Safety Action Plan, which actually has 8 priority areas. One is targeting partnerships, because as you know, road safety is a shared responsibility, and we need to bring everybody on the table, government and the others, to create space to do that. And we've talked about stakeholders here, like driving schools and many other non-state actors and counties. And I want to say that out of this realization, the government, through the authority, has actually done very well in implementation of this, because as we speak now, we have all the 47 counties having the county transport and safety committees. And this becomes a very critical component for implementation, or rather for pursuing road safety, because you are broadening the actors that plays a role. Remember, where we have more challenges like pedestrians and motorcyclists, these can be handled, with significant impact at this lower level. Issues of risk targeting, that we are doing quite a lot of assessments to identify high-risk corridors. And that's why it's possible now to say where we have these problems. And one of the things that the government, again, because it must be, like DG Major said, that it must be data-led, the database and all that. And we have national, the Road Safety Investment Plan, which put together all this, up to including saying where specifically we have problems and the kind of problem, so that then it moves to the next level of targeting that those issues. And some of the things, some of the interventions that are happening are actually led by this information on risk targeting. Issues of infrastructure safety, this is also a major challenge, which we mentioned here, that it plays a role.
Dr. Forget about the committees and, the issues you've identified. The question is, why aren't you using technology?
No, I'm coming there, Trevor, because I think it's important to give you the bigger picture, because as we said earlier, it's not one thing that is affecting this. But if we may say that, as we speak, one of the enforcement technology that we use is what we call Intelligent Road Safety Management System. How does this work? This is a system whereby we are able to connect through the speed limiters of vehicles to all the vehicles that are legally required to have this. These are the PSVs and heavy commercial vehicles. And they are able to transmit this information to NTSA, so that then it's possible to monitor speed. And what have we achieved through this? We've been able to engage many public transport operators and heavy commercial vehicles through this kind of technology, because we don't need to be on the road to be able to detect this. And through that, quite a number of compliance orders or corrective actions has been done. There is this issue of cameras that you are talking about. This is something, again, in the deliverable in the action plan, which the government was running a piloting. And it's now in the last stages, guided by relevant authorities in the government, to clear, so that then we can move to that stage whereby we're enforcing through cameras. And this is something that we're expecting to complete very soon and be able to... It's supposed now to go to the cabinet for approval, because it's done with the ministry. So it's to forward the CAP memo, so that then we get that approvals from the cabinet to enable its rolling out. And this will go a long way in dealing with this, because we don't need to be on the roads, and we deal with other issues that we all know that accompany enforcement by presence in the road.
Okay, let me bring
Trevor, while I was still in NTSA, we amended the Traffic Act to allow for a new standard of speed limiters that transmit information to a centralized database, and they are monitored from there. I want to be very honest with this. NTSA seems to have gone to, I don't know where they went. Because when I was there, I remember very well, any vehicle that was speeding, when we had started that program, and I left when we had just started, we could flag them off and call a SACCO that this number of your vehicles have exceeded the speed limit required. And we would choose to take action. suspend their driving license.
Yeah.
And the NTSA has a very, very powerful act that enables them to revoke licenses when they are violated. It's not being forced, it's not being used. So I think to me, NTSA needs really to wake up and do their job.
Okay.
This is a serious issue. Look at the numbers that we are losing. And nobody is safe today. Even me, nobody here. Even yourself, Trevor. For as long as there's a rogue driver out there on the road, no one is safe. So we must really collectively, all of us, get up and get serious with this issue.
Okay.
Because it is such serious that even driving today, nowadays, is getting scary.
Okay. Let me bring in Owuor on this. Owuor, how do you determine a driver's competence in Qatar? You're an experienced international trainer.
Thank you very much for that question. How do I determine their competency? I remember Banadiji mentioned that the examiner should not be friendly with the trainee. I am not for that opinion. We have to build a rapport. And when I am failing a driver, I tell him the areas that I find he is still not competent in. Wherever place he is competent in, I certify. And I write on my report that this driver, Trevor Ombija, is very good, but I have noticed some few faults that require retraining. You know, Ombija, will be very honest with you. We say the numbers are 2,933. Those are only recorded because right now as we speak, in one day, Kenya loses more than 25 people per day due to road carnage. I wish for a time when such happen, we will see the Minister of Transport, the head of NTSA, coming to address the nation. We need to do thorough investigation of what might have happened. You know, these are loved ones, people's husbands, people's wives, people's sons, people's daughters. We are in a country where nobody wishes to hold a hand of a child in school uniform to help them cross the road. No driver is sane in their mind. Yet every day we wake up and say we need to bring in experts. I'll be very honest with you, Trevor. Where I work, I have a team of about 6 Kenyans whom we have written proposals. I know people like Ephraim Odondi, Collins Kizito, Ramadan. The group is big. We have written proposals to help the government of Kenya for free because we have been trained on a very high level. Until these numbers hit a reality, you know, we can say, okay, let's go with the 2,933 that you earlier mentioned. Those are lives. Those lives have names, and those names have people they identify with. Those names have people who know them very well. And believe me, all of them, they left their homes and they promised to come back. Unfortunately, they are coming back in caskets. Why? For reasons that are avoidable. If you ask me what is road safety, I will tell you measures put in place to help reduce possible deaths. A possible death means a death that can be prevented. It is affecting the socio-economic growth of this country. We are really trying to boost the economy. Then we lose a doctor. Why? Because of drunk driving. Or because a rogue driver hit someone. How much more are we going to spend to create another heart surgeon? So if we are going to take road carnage as serious as we need to, my plea would be to the media houses. The campaign has to go high. The politicians must sacrifice one whole month and not talk about their political parties. They talk about the reality, what can be done better.
Okay. And
we need to bring in systems that will allow you as an individual, the viewer of tonight, to register, do an exam, probably pay even 50 shillings that will boost the government, do an exam, and then rank themselves. When you realize you rank yourself lower, you want to fight hard to grow to the top.
All right. I'll come to...
The reality is they are avoidable.
I want to hear your plan in terms of what Qatar has done to reduce the road carnage and the itemized issues, but I'll come to you in just a short while. Let me cross over to Maurice Oduor and hear what he thinks. Maurice, what do you think are the solutions going forward? Now, having been in the Matatu sector all this time, and you can hear what you're talking about as the issues here, what do you think will work to reduce road carnage?
Trevor, today I'm happy because the panelists, all of the panelists are talking the truth and nothing but the truth. And it is good that we are very, very serious people, very, very concerned Kenyans, like my brother Tet, who has said that he's ready, they are ready to train, they are ready to give their expertise on what is going to help us reduce the road carnages. Trevor, it is very sad because you look at now what Daktari Lagat is saying, Kiplagat is saying, that they have formed committees, the county transport safety committees. Do we have representation of the real the people who are on the road, the drivers, the drivers on the road? No one is. The drivers are not represented. Look at all these campaigns that are coming about. What is the involvement of drivers? What is the involvement of the real culprit? The drivers are the front office operators of this vehicle. Wow, to what extent are we engaging these drivers to make sure that everybody is on top of things? Secondly, look at my brother Major said that we have introduced issues like speed governors. Up to now, we have this is the fourth, I think it's the fourth or the fifth of the speed governor. Now, look at these speed governors keep on coming in the name of in the name of reducing road carnages. But instead of reducing road carnages, the road carnages are going up. What is this that we are doing wrong? Can speed governors reduce accidents? No. It is just something that is built in the mind of our people that they need to be sensitized, they need to know their responsibility, and the responsibility must start with the drivers who are on the day-to-day operation of these vehicles. You look at the road infrastructure. These people don't know where the pothole was there, whether there was a pothole at night that was brought even maybe by soil erosion or something like that, or the drivers who are on the daily running of those on the road, operating the roads, are the people who know. But where are they kept? They are nowhere. They cannot even raise their voice and say, okay, fine, today I was driving a monoline vehicle from Nakuru to Nairobi. At Limuru, the vehicles, the road is damaged. Until now, it comes to the realization of Kenha and other road agencies that they have to repair that particular part of the road. Okay. So there are very many issues. Fatigue. Look at fatigue. Nobody is talking about remuneration for drivers. Nobody is even talking about, because if you don't take care of these drivers, if you don't, there are drivers who are sleeping in vehicles. Imagine a driver driving a vehicle from Mombasa to Nairobi, then he ends up sleeping in a vehicle, very tired, and tomorrow is expected to drive that vehicle back to Mombasa. Nobody is talking about how these people are remunerated. Nobody is talking about the social welfare of these drivers. Nobody is talking about the mental capacity of the mental system of this. Nobody. Yeah. We are just about drivers, and what these people go through in these roads. It is very pathetic, and it is high time we do. If you're not going to address this issue, that we make sure that driving in Kenya becomes like any other job, so that it is treated like any other job.
All right. I'll take a quick break. When I come back, I'll come back with you in just a short while. And also, I'll play the soundbite of the president having talked about the Road Safety Action Plan. That was last year. To date, nothing has been implemented. We're back in just a bit.
every road user, pedestrian, driver, passenger, private sector, traveling in public transport, our children, all of us must be conscious about the dangers that lurk behind road using. And therefore, it is my expectation that we will be the administration that will finally deal with this challenge. We have 20,000 people in hospital because of different kinds of accidents on the roads. We're spending a colossal amount of money trying to treat them and to take care of them. Families are losing breadwinners, children, mothers, fathers, relatives, and it is devastating. And therefore, the collaboration that is required, and I am very happy that we have members of parliament here. They have been doing a great job in making sure that they facilitate regulation, making of legislation, getting policies in line. And therefore, with the support of every arm of government, I am very confident that we will begin to see a reversal. I am looking forward, before the end of this year, that majority of our junctions, majority of our blind spots, majority of the areas that bring danger to road users will be on camera. We have discussed, we have talked about instant fines for a very long time. Waziri, please, instant fines, 90 days is too much time for you to wait. Let's do it so that we can get everybody behaving because they know somebody is watching them.
Dr. Kiplagat, those were presidential directives last year.
Yes.
How come they've not been implemented? He's talked about instant fines. He's talked about by the end of the year, every corner that is a black spot must have a camera. No, it's not happened.
Actually, it's not right to say that this has not been implemented.
So what has been achieved?
Give me a minute, let me take you through. And I'm happy that you played that particular sound bit. One, some of the things that we've actually accomplished in as described in the Road Safety Action Plan. One of the things is that we were to operationalize county transport and safety committees. And I want to create what was said here, that drivers and motorcyclists are not represented. The county transport and safety committees are made by, among others, representatives of drivers and representatives of border borders, so that then the police, NTSA, it's a multi-sectoral thing, and all the 47 have been gazetted. 36 of them have been operationalized, and they're actually working, and we've seen in some of the counties that reducing carnages. Mainstreaming of road safety has been done. All government entities have road safety policies, and they're implementing it. This was completed, and it's contributing to this. The issue of investment plan, I said that has been done, and that was one of the things that the National Road Safety Action Plan said, and it's clear where we have problems. And recently you saw that the contractors are back on site. You saw that the need, for example, it was announced what is happening, the dualling of Rironi-Mau Summit, because that's a problematic area, and we will be able to see changes. Issues of traffic fines and penalties. You said it here, that we saw the piloting, and that has been done. And what is we are waiting now is to finalize the steps, so that then moving forward, we will have the cameras enforce, and enforce our behavior.
There's a general feeling that there's a delay in that final.
Yes, but you see,
what is the problem?
Again, you know, it goes through processes. It goes through processes, and like I'm saying, that it's in the final stage of approval, so that then we can be able to roll out.
So it is stuck at cabinet.
Yes, because actually you've seen, because text messages were sent to, could be sent to people and you saw what it was saying. And this is to operationalize this framework for instant fines and penalties. Issues I've talked about road safety assessment, because that's the basis of identifying where the problem is. Issues of infrastructure safety, we've said here that we all know that the contractors are back on the roads, and we'll expect that they'll be addressing some of the challenges that we are having about. Issues of vehicle safety standards. One of the regulations is on motor vehicle inspection, and DG mentioned that we need to have all stakeholders work on it, more on the private sector, and then we have the government regulating. That regulation has undergone regulatory impact assessment, and it's in tail end, so that then it can be implemented. Because again, we cannot implement things that is not backed by law. Issues of enforcement. We've talked about the traffic fines, but besides that, there are weaknesses on management, for example, of school transport, management of heavy commercials, and issues of drunk driving. Because DGA will tell you that we ran into trouble, people went to court and that had problems. But with these regulations, which again, because there are 4 of them at the tail end, then it will make it possible to come in strongly and enforce. And these are part of the things that are in the action plan. Just allow me, issues of now education or safer schools. I'm happy to say here that as we speak, since January this year, the schools from grade PP1 to grade 9 are actually having road safety integrated. And this was made through the intervention of NTSA working with KICD. And this is something that will be launched, but now launching the actually accomplishment of this SM. And what are we going to achieve is that we are able to inculcate good behavior, good road safety behavior from that tender age all the way to grade 12. So that at that particular time when it's 17, people will graduate as they go for, to get driving license. They already have benefited through this. Issues of, again, safe environment in school and safe, this will be handled by this resource. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that a lot has been achieved, but there's still a lot that needs to be done. So we need not to do a blanket to say that nothing has been achieved without saying this, and maybe this opportunity helps us to be able to bring out this and say that we are making progress, we are not yet there, but we are on course, and there are many things that we are going, we need to work with stakeholders, so that then we are all accomplishing this and manage to bring down fatality.
Major, what do you recommend? What should we do immediately now that we're in this situation?
I think what I will say to me, the first thing is we must appreciate this issue is serious. It is urgent, and it is very important that we sort out. There is now lack of law. If we were only to enforce even with what we have, the impact will be felt. But I strongly believe is in limiting the human intervention in road safety. That is where the biggest, the weakest link is. We must automate enforcement and some of these processes that are leading us to this challenge. We don't have the laxity of time anymore. We need to move. If you look at the issues of instant fines, I was there when we amended the Traffic Act to introduce instant fines. The driving license, the smart driving license, actually do support the instant fines. It has a demerit point system, okay? So that we start actualizing these things so that we save people. So that those careless drivers can be isolated by penalizing them in a very efficient way, you see, and remove them out of the road. Make them pay for the bad behavior. And we had actually, we were working with, when I was still in NTS, we were working very closely with the insurance so that the driver that is reckless can be identified because you can look at the history of his driving and make him pay a very high premium, insurance premium, while those who are behaving can benefit from their behavior. That is the only way to moderate behavior to the direction that we want.
Okay. Maurice, what do you recommend? Maurice?
What I recommend first.
Yes.
Let us fight corruption. Let us fight corruption. And you see, Mr. Kiplagat has said it Dr. Kiplagat has said it very well. The president pronounced himself on this, and even as the cabinet secretary then, I was there when we were launching the strategic plan. And the cabinet secretary then was the current cabinet secretary for interior. And he said that period is too long. We have not seen any impact. If we could have been seeing any impact, then the carnages could have been brought down. Let us fight corruption. Let us make sure that officers don't stay at a particular workplace for a long period of time, because that is the where corruption is bred. Let us stop leaving foreign drivers driving on our road, because we understand that foreign drivers that are driving our roads, they don't know our traffic rules, and they are driving on our roads. Why are we leaving them? And also, what did Michuki do during those years that the current cabinet secretary or the current administration cannot do to save the situation? Because during Michuki, we realized that the access were brought down. The access were brought down. So me and we interact with these law enforcers on the road. It is very good that you have mentioned about the issue of instant fine. This once we started talking about, Major can attest to this. We started talking about the issue of instant fine in 2012. I don't think 2012, 2010 or thereabout. Up to now, implementation of just instant fine. Because of what? This is a very, very ripe department, or very, very ripe sector for corruption. And corruption is what is killing this. It's a very, very...
All right, we apologize for that slight technical hitch. Let me bring in Owuor Otet on this. Owuor, what do you recommend going forward as we wind up?
We need to be very strict when it comes to...
Sorry, we have a bit of a challenge with Maurice. We'll go back to Maurice in just a bit. Owuor, you're giving your recommendations.
We need to be very serious with this, because it's a life-threatening issue. People are losing lives, and once they are gone, they're gone. There's no coming back. There's no second chance for this. So we need, by the way, Kenya has very good policies when it comes to the road, and that, just like they have mentioned about corruption, it is what is killing us. So where we are on the other side in Qatar, the fines are very hefty. Crossing a red light is 6,000 reals. That is about 240, 250 Kenya shillings, 1,000 that has to be paid. You cannot do anything until you pay it. And they allow you to even pay it in installments. Once you get that one charge, you will never, ever, ever want to play around. 2, awareness, awareness, awareness. How many interesting times we have in a day during prime times in all media houses? We could bring adverts that are going to help us reach out to people. Let us encourage working with people on the grassroots. There are local people who do a lot of these campaigns. I started from there until the other countries saw, and they said, okay, now it's time for you to come. If we are still going to continue the way we are going to continue, there is a hashtag I use online and people find it very harsh. I keep on saying Nabado. If we still continue bribing our ways and driving with worn-out tires, we'll still get tire bursts. If we still continue bribing our ways to pass our exams, we are still going to have half-baked, poorly cooked drivers on the road who do not even know any traffic sign. And then they are tasked with carrying and ferrying human lives. We need to work hard, remove the police who take bribe, work hard on the technology. A lot of things have happened in the recent year, and technology has been on the forefront. How about if the NTSA can introduce what we call community policing? Just an app that allows me to record how a vehicle in front of me is being driven, whether recklessly or good, to reward or to punish. Then I just upload the small video and we say, between this stretch, this time, the driver of this vehicle was driving very perfectly. Just a message to honor them. And if it is on the wrong, then it can be used, because policemen are not everywhere. Responsible drivers are not everywhere. We can use community policing to report ourselves. If somebody is making a wrong turn, somebody will always be there. The motorcycle riders, near the stages where they are. They are at strategic places where people do wrong U-turns. We just record and it is put there. There was a program that came sometime in Citizen TV, the rogue driver. If we can have those, when you're seen as a rogue driver, even your friends will be like, man, no, you have to pull up your socks on this. So there is a lot that needs to be done, and a lot of awareness. Most of our people are doing these things because they think they know, but they don't know. You find that somebody will come to you with a highway code of a country like Germany to argue a Kenyan case. So if we can bring more ways of disseminating the information we have in the Kenyan highway code, it is going to really help our people.
So just run me through how Qatar operates. Where you said that running a red light is 6,000 riyals. That's 250,000 Kenya shillings. What happens to speeding, accidents, worn out tires, those human errors, an expired license? How do they operate there?
Number one, if you don't have a driving license in Qatar, never ever touch, and you will not touch. If you are licensed to drive an automatic vehicle, you can never touch that category that is manual. So what do? The traffic system runs the driving schools. The policemen, they do the tests on their own. And let me tell you, passing a driver's test in Qatar is much more than passing a PhD in Kenya. It's not easy. We see captains who fly aircraft, they fail and they cry. They have even up to 4 attempts. You do it first time, you fail, second time you fail, third time you fail, fourth time you fail, you stay out for some time, then you come and enroll again. Now, this is where it gets funny. When an accident happens, it comes back to who trained you. The trainer has a syllabus that every day when he trains, he ticks and writes, I have done roundabout left, roundabout right. What is his comment at the point? The driver still has an issue, but I am pushing them for the test. So it is very detailed. 6 years later, it will come back to who signed it. After passing that, you have the license. Then we have what we call a professional driver's training. You now take that course for 7 days. You already have the license, you know how to drive, but they want you to drive at a professional level. They want you to drive defensively. So all these are now combined. You already have the license, you can drive, but they still bring you back into digging deeper into your understanding. Because anything can happen. Accidents can happen. There are elements of surprise. Crashes, we trigger them. But when this element of surprise arrives, are you still able to save the lives that are within you, with you, or around you? So you find that the system is very deep. Every violation has its price. Speeding, in fact, they don't overlap. Never do you hear that. Using your phones, the camera is now artificial. Even if you are driving and you want to peep, you just want to peep. The camera is able to know you are using the phone, and then you get a violation in your app. The number that you have on your ID is the number that you have on your every system, driving license, ID, health card. So there's no way you are going to escape. The only thing that you now have to do is take responsibility. When the speed is 30, do 30. When the speed is 60, do 60. In a residential school areas, we do 30. But here I see our Uber drivers, our motorcycle drivers driving at 80 in playgrounds where children are. Then you realize indeed there is a very big problem. Okay. And if we continue this, Nabado, there will be a lot of deaths that are coming.
Let me bring in some quick feedback here, then I'll take closing remarks from my guest. I know we're running out of time here. Let's bring up the feedback and see what you're saying online so that we know. And this is Dr. Isaac Kalua Green, says 2,900 Kenyans dead in 8 months. We blame speeding, alcohol and bad driving, but ignore a hidden killer inside our cars. When windows are closed and AC is on, recirculation and carbon monoxide builds up first. At 1,000 to 2,000 ppm, your brain slows, you feel drowsy, and reaction time drops 15 to 50%. That's how crashes happen without anyone knowing why. I've raised this in my weekly green column before. It's time we treat it as a national road safety crisis. I've seen in a car air quality build up to over 3,000 ppm in Kenya, and it's almost normal. Simply ventilate and regulate to save lives. It's an interesting perspective. Hustler says NTSA is dead. No enforcement of transport laws. Ask the director, why are 14-seater matatus on Outer Ring Road carrying excess passengers? And also, why are the pedestrians not using footbridges at Allsops and Embakasi? A lot of chaos in our roads, which is a ticking time bomb. Gary Hill says, Trevor, the Secretary General is defending the drivers. The whole problem of traffic jams on the roads are created by the matatu industry. I request that he takes one driver from the 47 counties to make a visit to India, where we have the highest population in the world, but there's no jam. Okay? Carr says, road accidents are caused by drivers. It's a high time drivers and other road users decide how they will arrive alive. How to use the road as is important as our lives. The image below shows unroadworthy Seketes ferrying passengers as they wish in Nairobi nodes. Okay, and it put up a road there, plus including the license there, plus the registration plate. Okay, and roadworthy vehicles. Jay Wangai says, every governance structure in this country is broken and the poor citizens receive the bitter end of the stick. Untrained drivers are licensed through unscrupulous means. Because of 50 shillings, the police allow unroadworthy vehicles on the road. Okay? Dixon, the chairman, Matatu Welfare Association, says road safety crashes in this country will not improve until the following glaring challenges are addressed. One, if NTSA is expected to perform as expected, it must be adequately funded in order to function accordingly. Number two, NTSA board must be reconstituted afresh with experienced, merit and professionalism-oriented persons like other well-performing government agencies, e.g. road state corporations. Number three, it's a high time vehicle owners take charge of their units of trade by making sure that drivers are professionally competent. And number five, corruption is so much endemic, cutting across within the road safety compliance audit and regulation. Okay? Elvis says, Trevor, the real issue on ground killing our people is number one, corruption. From the traffic police just minding what gets into their pockets. NTSA, same WhatsApp group, money-minded. Number two, impunity on our roads from the matatu sector, as shown in the a thorn in the flesh. This is aided by the fact that they have the authorities in their pockets. And number three, I long for the day we can put those in the authority to task and tell Kenyans who are the ultimate beneficiaries of these monies being collected on the road on a daily basis. So until then, we will continue losing our people on the roads. Okay? Amiel says NTSA stopped being proactive and reacted to incidents. Kenha should install all destroyed road signs. Arrest all corrupt traffic officers on our roads. 4, remove all county traffic marshals and leave traffic officers. And number 5, install traffic lights and allow them to work. Number 6, arrest and tame and discipline GK vehicles drivers. Have a special traffic unit to tame rogue boarders and GK vehicles drivers. Tame GK matatus in PSV industry. NTSA should wake up or be dismantled. Jethro says, we want roads painted with road marks, zebra crossings, and the implementation of those road rules. Road indiscipline will not end as long as we continue having our corrupt policemen on the road. Technology is not embraced by the authority because they use roads as cash cows. Let's change as a nation. Ferenc says, Fonds is also another devil on the road. All right. Dr. Kiplagat, closing remarks on this. And you've seen the statements towards NTSA.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's clear that we are all converging that road safety is a serious issue that calls for all of us to collaborate together. And I think from the statements and from the discussions that we've had here, and that it's a shared responsibility, meaning that the pedestrians need to play their role by being careful on the road so that then we avert accidents. All the cyclists, the drivers, I'm happy, even the vehicle owners, that they have a responsibility. And if we play all these, then we will together be able to reduce this. Secondly, is that I'm happy from the panels here, we're also converging, again, that there are certain things that needs to be done. Improve on driver competency, automate most of these things to be able to address corruption. And as said earlier, this is actually in line. This is properly aligned to what the government is doing. Some of these things have been demonstrated and are in the final stages of actualizing them, so that then we move into an area whereby there is smart enforcement, less interaction, issues of improved driver training. And actually the study that I talked about benefited from this benchmarking. And when we are able to do this, to implement, because it's currently, the study is over, it's clear what, so we are waiting for review and approval so that then we can actualize this.
Have you gotten a general indication of when this will be? Do you speak to the authorities at B? Do you tell them that this is urgent? When are they going to implement?
It's within the ministries, just going to the cabinet for approvals, because testing has been done.
Have they given you an indication that this will happen by December? The president had said 90 days, and that was last year.
Yes, I would say that before the end of the year, because of the advanced stage of where it is. Because everybody needs this. We need this as an authority because it's going to help to address a problem. It's clearly indicated actually in the national strategy.
So, the end of the year.
We are all in this. I'm saying that we are all in this because the president said, the plan says, and we've made progress. It's actually at the tail end.
Okay.
Because we all need this to be able to bring this. So mine is just that it's a shared responsibility. Let's work together and be able to, the government will do its part, let other road users and stakeholders do their bit.
All right, Major, closing remarks.
Thank you. And one of the things that I don't want to forget, I hope in the Kisumu accident, there will be investigation, because while I was still in NTSA, we again made regulations for bus body constructions. And one of the things that was introduced are anti-rolling bars, so that if a bus overturns, the canopy does not collapse. I hope those standards are still being enforced, so that it saves a lot of life, because when the canopy collapses, then so many people then die in that process. To me, the party short is this. This is something urgent, it is important, and we must engage business and usual mode in approaching road safety. We have enough regulations, we need more action to actualize some of these things. Okay. And to me, the solution is automation, and relying more or limiting human intervention in that process, because that's where corruption starts. That is why we cannot be efficient in enforcement.
Okay. Maurice, closing remarks? Maurice Oduor?
Of technology, stopping impunity, all these are what we are supposed to do. And as we have agreed here as stakeholders that road safety is a shared responsibility. Let each and every person do his part. We are going to do our part. We are going to sensitize our drivers, conductors on how they are supposed to behave on the road. And the NTSA should also take a pivotal role in making sure that this thing is implemented. Because I've just asked, what did Michuki do that we have failed to do that made road safety those years a priority?
Okay.
We need something. Thank you.
All right. Oduor, closing remarks?
My closing remarks will be a call to action. We see a lot of road crashes happening, but we never see anybody from NTSA, anybody from the Ministry of Transport, anybody from the police coming to give a statement. We don't even do investigation. Yet if we were able to come out and speak, then the country, people will see that we are taking this matter at hand and at heart. Then will we start to change it. Change the syllabus of what is being trained. NTSA, Daktari, thank you very much for what NTSA is doing. I believe it is the NTSA that regulates what people learn. Start by ensuring that we all learn a standard thing, not that some people will use hazard lights when they are moving, some people will use hazard lights when they are stopped. Clarity, clarity, clarity. If we are going to have clarity, then we are beginning to shape the route of saving lives through road carnage.
Okay.
Don't look for experts from the European countries. Experts are here with us in Kenya. Thank you.
Kiplagat, do you have a burning issue?
Just for information, the standard, the anti-roll bar, is actually being enforced as it is. And one case that really had helped is like the Maimayu problem, accident, road crash that happened. The reason why we were able to minimize on fatalities was because of that particular anti-roll bar. So that is enforced.
But the one in Kisumu,
it didn't have.
Canopy.
Yes, it didn't have. Actually, the Kisumu did not have. And it's because of the application of the law, because it applied from 2017 going forward. So we are working to get the others which were already built before the law. Yeah, so it's working, and I want to assure the issue of technology in terms of monitoring. You remember the speed limiters? That's actually helping us, and the people from the industry, the PSV industry and heavy commercial, will tell you the interactions that we have, the summons. You've had the suspensions that we've had a number of times here, and it's because of what we get from that technology. So these are some of the things that are actually helping us, which if you look at the fatalities and you break down, actually on the passengers and vehicles, it has reduced marginally, and we attribute this to some of these technologies that we are having, and we hope this will improve even as we get to implement this. Okay. That was just to clarify.
All right. Thank you so much for making time this evening. Dr. Andrew Kiplagat, Director, Road Safety, NTSA, Francis Major, former DG, NTSA, Maurice Oduor, General Secretary, Matatu Workers Union, and Owuor Otet, Road Safety Expert, International Trainer from the Road Transport Unit in Qatar. Thank you very much for speaking to us this evening, and thank you all for the feedback that you sent through. My name is Trevor Mbijo. On behalf of everyone who made this possible, say good night and God bless.